Now, this is very worrying. An Australian student has gone missing in North Korea. The dictatorship, reports from South Korea, says has been arrested. He is Alek Sigley, a 29-year-old student, has been living in Pyongyang, studying Korean literature and also taking around tour groups there. His family's issued a statement saying they haven't heard from him since Tuesday, our time, which is very unusual. And our government will have trouble getting information out of North Korea.
We're providing consular assistance to his family, and our embassy in South Korea has reached out to relevant officials in North Korea. I mean, there's obviously some complications in providing consular assistance into North Korea. We work through the Swedish government in North Korea, and all of these steps are underway.
There are two things to worry about, though. One is, of course, for an American student, Otto Warmbier. He died after being arrested for stealing a poster in North Korea. And here's another thing. This has just happened when there are now signs that US President Donald Trump and North Korean dictator Kim Jong Un could hold a third summit to discuss easing US sanctions in exchange for North Korea giving up nuclear weapons. Before the first summit, North Korea released 3 Americans that are jailed. Is Alek Sigley a victim of geopolitics, arrested just to become another chip on Kim Jong Un's table? Joining me is Kieran Gilbert, Sky News chief political reporter in Japan for the G20 meeting, where Prime Minister Scott Morrison is about to meet Donald Trump. Kieran, thanks for your time. How worried is the government about Alek Sigley?
They're very worried, Andrew, and because of what you said there, that context of Otto Warmbier, the US student who was detained in 2016. He was released a year later in a coma and died shortly afterwards. So that's the parallel that's been made with this young man. However, there is a difference here. This Australian has been quite aware and sensitive to the North Korean cultural sensitivities. It's been very much a focus of his since he started taking tours there in 2013. So hasn't been a critic of the regime. However, I don't think anyone in the government is deluded to think that Kim Jong Un might give him some reprieve or go easy on him just because of that. We know he's a brutal dictator. We know what he's done to his own family, and we know what he did to Otto Warmbier, that US student.
And is Scott Morrison, the Prime Minister, going to raise this with Donald Trump when they're in Japan together, that Sigley must be freed before there are any more talks with North Korea?
Well, I know that North Korea and that issue will be discussed tonight. You would assume that this issue, this development, would have to be raised by the Prime Minister. And in the context as well of what you touched on, the fact that Donald Trump has secured some repatriations in the past in return for getting back to the negotiating table. So that could well be a development that we see here, and a tactic here by Kim Jong Un to seize one of the US closest allies, or at least one of their citizens.
That's a scary, scary thought, Kieran Gilbert. I see your bus taking you to your next event is right behind you waiting. I'll let you go. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Andrew.